Welcome back to the channel, boys. Today I want to go over episode 1 of Spider Noir on Prime Video, and only episode 1. Now, they did drop the entire season, which I appreciate, because I actually like that model more. But I've only watched episode 1, and I was just very pleasantly surprised to where I was like, man, I gotta hop on the mic and talk about it, because this was something I was really not waiting for. I didn't really care. I mean, I knew it was coming out, but I thought it would be cute. I guess I just thought it was going to be whatever. Now, I do like Spider-Man content, and especially a live-action Spider-Man TV show. I mean, I don't think we've ever gotten that before. But yeah, I just don't know much about this version of Spider-Man besides what I've seen in the Spider-Verse movies and the Shattered Dimensions game, which is like a throwback, which I think are great. And I love Spider-Noir in the Spider-Verse movies specifically. I think he's mostly just in the first one, though, but he was a standout for me. He has a line in that movie that I always, still to this day, when I'm gaming or some shit, I'll use his line. He's like, I don't pick the ballroom, lady, I just dance, or something. Some dog shit like that. Point is, I like the guy. Just don't care enough about him to go any further than his, part in Spider-Verse as far as media. And so I just threw on episode 1, and yes, I did watch it in color. I'm about to go back and watch it in black and white. I'm gonna just go check it out after this video. But I just really wanted to get a good feel for the show. I'm not a black and white kind of guy, okay? Well, off the bat, we have Nicolas Cage narrating as Ben Reilly, pretty much going over his story, and already, man, I was hooked. Especially being in my position where I don't know or really remember much about this version, so I was immediately hooked. Now, yes, his backstory does kind of rhyme with the other Spider-Man, as we know they have their canon events. And there was a little twist with this version's love interest being the one who tells him, with great power comes great responsibility. And just the way they portrayed that entire opening scene with memories popping up in the reflections of windows and him visiting the grave. I mean, the writing and the visuals were just super appealing to me already. And, I mentioned these things. I'm not a film critic or an expert on these things, but I do notice and care about them more than the majority of average people, as I'm sure a lot of us that consume or make this kind of content might. But yeah, that really appealed to me, and I was immediately intrigued by this character. We're shown his life as a private investigator, and what I like is, at least so far, we are solely focused on our main character. I didn't get any signs that there are going to be any boring or useless side character plots. As for the side characters themselves, though, so far there is his secretary, who is actually very pleasant, not some girl boss, at least so far, okay? But she had some funny lines, and she has a good back and forth with our main character, and I was happy with that. Speaking of funny lines, though, the show has a nice, clean sense of humor. As in, I appreciated just quick little jabs and funny lines here and there. Nothing juvenile, nothing gross. And I say this because I guess that is more common than not, I suppose. But this is just coming right after watching The Boys, so it was very refreshing. But maybe that's not fair to The Boys, because this very much still is a Spider-Man show, so that probably wasn't even a possibility. But, see, I say that, but I was surprised to see that this is definitely not meant to be a kid's show, and it's definitely not a kid's story. So far, I did not know this was going to be a more mature audience show. I heard a couple cuss words throughout the episode, and I thought that was interesting, but then at the end when Silverman kills the guy who killed Addison, it was pretty gruesome, especially for a Spider-Man story. So I'm really excited to continue and see where this goes. Another character we meet is Robbie, who I'm not sure if he's a variant of somebody. Robbie Robertson, but he seems to know Ben is Spider-Man, and he's urging him to get back in the game. I don't think we learned too much about him, though, but he seems cool so far. Nothing, no red flags. And then there's Kat Hardy. She had a musical piece in this episode, which I usually get annoyed by, but I don't know if I was just locked in to the show or what, but her singing was really good. And watching Ben Reilly be mesmerized by her was great. But yeah, her name is Kat Hardy, and when I was writing this, I didn't even realize what her name meant. Like, is this supposed to be Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat? If so, that's pretty interesting. I like the play on her name, and it's interesting because she has some sort of friendship with Flint Marko, who we know is Sandman. And they did show Sandman kind of use his powers. I don't expect much on that end because it is a first season and it is a TV show on Prime, so I don't know what the budget is. I assume what we see in episode 1 is the extent of it, like him turning his fists into sand and his face looking sandy, whatever they can do practically, I don't expect a lot of CGI. Although the CGI that they do have is pretty solid. Again, for a live action TV Spider-Man show, it's been good so far. Maybe they threw their best into the pilot, which is not uncommon, but I thought that fight scene between Ben Reilly and Sandman was okay. With all that in mind, it was at nighttime, and I really liked the atmosphere of this show, especially at nighttime. It almost felt like we were in fucking Gotham City, man. And Nicolas Cage does a very good job, which isn't inherently a surprise, but I could see someone with that kind of status and record. I wouldn't be surprised to see him phone it in, but he plays how I would imagine Spider Noir would act. Again, Spider-Verse movies and Shattered Dimensions is my only experience of Spider Noir pretty much. And I know Nicolas Cage voices him in the Spider-Verse movies too, so it makes sense that he'd take this role seriously, and I'm happy to see that he's giving a good performance. I've said it before, but I really do like a good period piece story. And if you've read Spider Noir comics, this may be nothing new to you at all, but to see these Spider-Man characters in the 1920s and to see a Spider-Man himself in this time period is super cool. They have a character named Addison who is pretty much, he looks like the Human Torch, but I know that's not an actual Johnny Storm variant, so I wonder who that is. Maybe he is an original character to Spider Noir, but it seems like superpowered beings are not normal in this universe, at least at this point, and that they've just started to reveal themselves or they're just starting to pop up, whatever. And I think that might be what Ben's spider sense is trying to tell him. I'm really interested in that. They made it very clear his spider sense is trying to tell him something. What's funny is some of you that watch this might have already binged this season and know what's going on, but hey, this was episode 1 of Spider Noir. Let me know if you want me to go episode by episode. Otherwise, I'm just going to watch the whole show and give my review of the show as a whole. Either way, let me know what you think of the show in the comments. Please don't spoil anything, although I think that might be a long shot. That might be too much to ask. But come on, man. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you watching the video, man. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike if you didn't. Have a good day. Peace.